Traditionally, when we were working within a waterfall life cycle type of a program or product, you would come in, you wouldn't have the product at the ready because it's a long-term product. It's very
Yes.
difficult. So you might have some type of a simulator or some type of a flash macromedia that is giving you the future state or giving the customer the future state. But it's going to take a year to a year and a half, maybe 2 years to get out, right? And in those situations, there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of people talking about what they want to do. And a lot of the pain goes up front into the design and the development because that's where the majority of the work is. But as a result, what ends up happening is you really can't change that trajectory because you're in the middle of it with that waterfall
Yeah.
life cycle. And so
Yep.
there's a lot more talking and guiding around on the evaluation process. Whereas when you're in an agile cycle, which is where we're going, where you need
Mhm.
instantaneous feedback and you need to have a process that you're managing and monitoring for turnaround times and improvement, right? When you're working an agile process, you need to make that change for priority as soon as available, which depends on the cadence of your team, right? So if I was in a waterfall life cycle program or a project, and
Mhm.
let's say we had 18 months to deliver, by the time we got into test and evaluation, much of the bugs that we're going to find have been maybe even a year separated from the actual development activity. So you're adding all this overhead into the actual overall life cycle when you're operating, especially with software development. Waterfall is not designed for everything, especially software
Yeah.
development. But it's good for stuff like building buildings and things where you know the requirements, you know the materials, and you can get a good handle on the schedule. When you're talking about software and technology, that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes the customer doesn't know what they want, which is when they lean on us. And so when you go into that long term where you're giving a simulator or a flash file, and then you're delivering that a year and a half later where it probably needs to change already, and you didn't
Yeah.
allow for that change, not only are you just talking to them, but you might not even be delivering the ideal solution at that time.